Starting to the bottom right of the map in our second game between Sweden and Norway, we have the Swedish player, the second Swedish player. It is Zunster. It was Zunster in the first game. This is Hope, of course. Sorry, I was just thinking about the player that Snood already eliminated. So the early game, the first game today, that was where Snood was able to shine. Now we have Hope going up against Snood. And people that have been listening to what I said in the last game might currently be asking, like, who's Hope? Like, why is he playing? Or why do we not see either Moro or Mini Razor? I'm going to come to that in a second. Snood at this point to the top left. It starts here in his second game for Norway. He already has his first win in this best of 7. And Hope is replacing Moro because apparently Moro could not make it today. Well, yesterday he forfeited his spot in the Nation Wars match, and therefore it is Hope who is currently playing this, which means also that we have 3 Zerg players for Team Sweden. So Team Sweden, aka Team Zerg, is trying to now take on Norway, which is very difficult considering that Snood is an amazing ZVZ player. With 200 maps played in Heart of the Swarm online, he has a 63% win ratio in this matchup, which is absolutely crazy. So a very, very bad spot for Norway to, sorry, for Sweden to be in. For Norway, this is pretty cool, but maybe Hope or Mini Razor can take down Snood. The issue is that it's not only about taking out Snood, but then also defeating Targa and Aiki and the potential ace player for Norway, so it's definitely not an easy feat to accomplish. The expansion has been started for Snood. As you can see, it's once more a mirror match where both of them are currently just trying to have a quick look how exactly this is going to work out for them. Just the same builds that we see there. We have small deviations, so we had them in the last game roughly around the 6-7 minute mark. Up to that might be exactly the same. So we are currently just having overlords getting into their positions, trying to find out if there is already a natural being built, then determining what exactly the timing is, if it was a hatch first, if it was a pool first, trying to have a look into the main base if possible to see if there is maybe gas or not. We have gas taken for Hope at the bottom right. It will enable him to get this earlier speed upgrade. With Snood not getting a gas yet, he will have more minerals at the beginning that he could use to invest them into queens. And we also have the extractor now started for Snood. So for Norway, we have currently, we have Snood as a starting player, as I said. Aiki is the only non-Zerg player in this entire match between the two of them. So we have 5 Zerg players and we have 1 Protoss player. And we might not see Aiki. Actually, I'm not quite sure if Aiki played in the last match. I was pretty sure that he had played 1 game and lost it. He's a player, I've heard about him a couple of times. I think I casted him once or twice, but he's definitely not that heavy hitter that you would expect to see. But as I mentioned already earlier, a young player like him can always surprise people. We've seen this in the game that Italy played just recently, where Reino was able to win the match against the Russian player. Reino, by the way, being 12 years old, just as a side note. So if you're looking for the next Stefano, Reina definitely has the potential to become that player. But of course he still has also a long way to go and needs to make sure that he stays on top of things if he really wants to accomplish that. We see all the way to the bottom right the Baneling nest now being built for Hope. Scouting information were delivered by both players. We have speed started for Hope also a lot faster than for Snood. Snood is relying on 3 queens, whereas Hope has 2. Those extra queens will also allow him to just push the creep a bit farther and therefore have that early warning system against his opponent's attacks. We saw that in the first game that Snood played against Zunster. This is of course still a little bit too early to really come into effect. But the Baneling nest at the front and everything that Snood does in regards to his tech is starting later than what Hope does. And Hope, is he going for the aggression? He has the speed nearly done, so usually you would build the Zerglings a bit faster so that he can, with speed, then hit immediately. If he really intends to attack, he's going to lose that advantage, but we have him with an evolution chamber that is starting to create a small wall over here, so it looks very unlikely that Hope is really going to go for it. It's more likely that he's just going to sit tight for now and try to out-macro Snood, which is in itself quite difficult. Baneling nest is not the only thing that Snood is throwing in now. He is also adding the Roach Warren, and the Roach Warren in the main base that of course is going to give him again a very good opportunity just moving in and taking this game once more with his Roach and Baneling composition. This is one of the compositions that he really loves. The composition that he used in the last game as well. He doesn't only use it against Hydra compositions, but he also uses it against Roaches alone. We have now the +1 attack upgrade started for Hope, and Hope with the hatch into lair tech, whereas Snoot is going for the third base, which has been spotted. That Overlord sees it, the Zerglings move in and try to force a cancel. Snoot needs a few units to counter that. And he has Banelings. He has Banelings and is trying to use them for that. So at least he's going to buy himself some time. Nice detonate here. Really good detonate. Well, at least the first one. The second one was, of course, then maybe not ideal. But the base is going to go through. And we have immediately Hope trying to counter that. Going here straight for the third base himself. Hope, by the way, was for quite some time part of Team Mousesports. And, well, currently he's playing for Vega Squadron, if I'm not mistaken. Well, Lings and Roaches already moving down now. Snoot is attempting to snipe his opponent's base, and we do see the much better Roach count for him. It's actually 11 Roaches against 0. Now 5 of them are there. No cancel on the hatch. The Queen is definitely gonna fall. There's no way for the Queen to escape. The Queen's running away off creep. Who are you kidding? And this base is not gonna make it. So the third base is gone. And that is very annoying here for... Well, those Banelings didn't do anything, by the way. That's very annoying now for Hope, who's still on 2 bases against 3. Snoot didn't take gas yet, which is most of the time the more important part. We have in the main base also the hatch into lair tech nearly completed for Snoot. Hope is, of course, already there. He actually nearly completed the speed upgrade for the Roaches, whereas we now see +2 attack started in the Revolution Chamber. But Snoot is ready to meet him. Snoot is looking at a better... Well, a better army supply in general, I think. Actually, we're a little bit behind. And keep that +1 attack upgrade for the Roaches also in mind, because the one thing that really matters here is that the Roaches of Hope can 2-hit the Zerglings of Snoot. And talking about these Zerglings, they are trying to use their speed to take another hit at that third, and they are going to force a cancel. Cancel being forced, but can Snoot defend against the opponent's army at the top left? Looks like he can. Overall supply is still in favor of Hope, who is still supply blocked here. Supply block time for him currently at 93 seconds against 63. Also the idle worker count is in favor of Snoot, as you can see there. Another third base being started, and he really needs that. But, well, Snoot is just trying to work with what he's got there. And what he's got is more Roaches. He has the +1 attack upgrade nearly completed. The Roach speed is not done yet. So still a bit of a lead there for Hope in that regard. But still, Hope is about to move in, and Snoot is willing to go straight for the confrontation. He has 30 against 33 Roaches, a few less Roaches than his opponent, but he can always get a few more and just crank them out right here at the hatch. Supply block time at 120 already. Hope is trying to get a few more units, and especially Overlords, into that game. That's going to take him quite some while, so he's supply blocked for a long time, and that hurts in this situation. He really wants to get that solved as fast as he can. But now we have, for him, even the Burrow upgrade and also Tunneling Claws research. Nice, I like it. If not for the Overseers that we see there, well, it's actually an Overseer for Hope. So I don't think we have Overseers for Snoot yet. No, we do not. And that will allow him to do some damage with maybe Burrowed Roaches moving into the main base and into the natural. So important for him. Snoot is starting to take a decent, well, not really a lead in supply, but he's closing that gap, and he's closing it fast, adding the +2 attack upgrade too. And if you think about it, like, he doesn't have the superior numbers just yet, and his upgrades also not really ahead, but with that economy that he had at the third base, he's definitely in a position where he will be able to catch up in just some time. He's also now heading into the double upgrades, which is great for him. +2 attack for Hope's Roaches, no armor upgrade researched for him, at least not started. We have a few Burrowed Roaches starting to move in, and that's exactly where those upgrades come into play. But we have for, well, there we go. Apparently Snoot saw something, because he goes for an Overseer on his own, and that's going to be important. Did he really see those Roaches move? He might have. They are trying to move back again, but the Overseer is now there. He's losing 1, he's losing 2. And Snoot now a 20 supply lead for him in this ZVZ, and Hope is starting to transition out of it. He's going into the infestation pit first, whereas Snoot, of course, knows still about this third base of his opponent, could always move in here, but for now it's more important for him to just get the rest of his upgrades. The speed upgrades for the Banelings that he likes to use, the +1 armor upgrade, +2 attack, the speed upgrade for the Overlords. We have Hope still trying to poke, still trying to do damage, still trying to be a bit of a pain in the ass here. And Snoot is always willing to take those fights. 64 against 62 roach supply. A better bank for Snoot though. Upgrades soon to be in his favor. Right now we have actually a bit of a lead in upgrades for Hope, but that doesn't stop Snoot from picking those fights whenever he can. We see now Spine Crawlers also built. Apparently Snoot wants to make sure that even if Hope is trying to push through here, that he's not going to succeed with that. The +2 attack upgrade is now about to be completed, and there it is, and the armor upgrade is also on the way. Armor upgrade has also been started for Hope. We can't see +3 just yet for Snoot, and neither can we see that for Hope, since we have none of those two players on a hive tech. But they are very, very cautious in their movements on the map. Not really the best saturation on the third base either now for Hope. The harvest account for him is still at 53 against 63 for Snoot, who has a better saturation, nearly up at the 16 that you usually want in such a situation. 13 at the natural and 17 in the main base. Hope looking for an angle where he can attack, where Snoot starts the +2 attack upgrade, armor upgrade. He is already in a better position with the upgrades, not for long though, since Hope is getting his own +1 armor, but it's now still Roaches and Banelings going up against Roach Infesta. That's what Hope is getting, that's what Hope is looking for. A better bank for Snoot. How much lava does he have? In terms of lava, he has 28 against, 28 against 21. We see the hive tech started for Hope. That would allow him to get, for example, also Vipers. Blinding Clouds in combination with fungals, those are absolutely great. A fungal growth and then a blinding cloud following things up. That's an amazing composition here if you can really pull it off. So still the Overlord's detecting everything here. Without the Antia in the game, they don't have to be afraid of anything. But Snoot has the speed upgrade, so he could retreat with them whenever he wants, and he might be, he might have to do that because the Hydra Den is now started. Hope starts a 4th base at the bottom, and Snoot decides that it's now time to move in. Time to do some damage, time to attack. The army supply is roughly the same. The upgrades are also the same. Nice, splitting a few units off and trying to move those over to attack that third. I really like that move by Hope. I really, really like this. With this move, he could definitely damage the economy of Snoot, and he most likely will. There's, well, a lot of Spine Crawlers. That's the problem. Snoot is not really skipping on the defense. That much is for certain, and it doesn't really look like he has enough there. The army is moving in, and Snoot isn't ready for that. Very nice timing here for Hope. Snoot isn't ready. The rest of his army is just now moving in, and all of the units that Snoot had parked there to the right are already attacked, and most of them taken out. So a very unfortunate timing for Snoot. It's great for Hope. Snoot is getting a 4th base now as well, but it's actually Snoot who's able to just remax a bit faster here. The resources lost are in favor of Snoot still, and he somehow makes this work, at least for a little bit. He's not going to be able to defeat this army, but at least that gap is not closed yet. Snoot is losing a lot though now in the process, so dropping in supply, and as I said earlier, like the timing for the attack for Hope was great. Snoot trying to remax immediately, but then suddenly the remax of Hope hits. But look at the bank here, nearly 3,000 minerals and 1,000 gas for Snoot. I think he's probably lacking larva. Yeah, he's looking at only 8 now. He needs more than that. The hive tech for him nearly done. It was very unfortunate. Snoot was trying to just encircle his opponent and circle around this army and attack from 2 angles at once. But Hope somehow identified that and immediately attacked that half of army that was still in position. Fungal dodged. Snoot with not only a 4th but also a 5th base building. +3 attack has been started for Hope, and the range upgrade for the Hydras. So Hope with a very decent game now. Looking pretty good here, not too shabby. Still these guys are just such a nuisance. I mean, if you are ever up against Roaches that can burrow and burrow move, you know exactly what it's like when you're in a battle and suddenly just Roaches pop up in your main base at your natural to the 3rd and start to take down the harvesters. Very distracting. Snoot with a Spire attack, interestingly enough. Not necessarily for Mutalisk, might be the Broodlords here. He's still moving across the map. 1 or 2 Mutalisks, or at least the Corruptor, would not be too bad because he could take down the Overlords of his opponent. I do not think we have the speed upgrade for them. No, we don't. So he can't really move them back. I think the Roaches have already been found. No, those haven't. And, well, we still have more Roaches streaming over to the top right. Hope is just trying to be a pain in the ass right now. I'm sorry, but that's exactly what he's trying to do here. He's always trying to move into a decent position to just make sure that Snoot has to move back. And Snoot is moving back with half his army, moving in for a quick kill on the hatch maybe. Kills the queen, that much is certain. But can he take down the hatch? Doesn't really look like it. He doesn't focus on it either. He takes down a gas, and that's it. Does he really want to pick that fight? It looks like it. Now he has to. At least the infestors are going to get another fungal off, and that fungal is doing damage. The right side of the map is being attacked. That particular base, immediately the burrow move here by Hope. I like how he uses the upgrade. Has counter aggression all the way to the top, doing still some more damage. You can see that both of them are taking down a lot of harvesters. Snood has another attack at the fourth of his opponent. He has one over there at the third. We see the same thing also for Hope. Both of them at each other's throat, with now the overall supply much more in favor of Hope than for Snood. But Snood has that bank that we were talking about earlier in this game. He's just lacking the larva. 38 harvesters against 33, and it's really quite amazing how both of those players are keeping track of what's going on there. The snipe on that fourth base, super important by Snood, taking that down and of course limiting the income of his opponent once again, but very nice defense. We saw also a base being taken out by a Hope. He was able to take down this one, but he did not annihilate the one to the left side of the map. So both of them with great multitasking, just defending and attacking at the same time, several locations at once being attacked. The roach count, as you can see, is currently at 41 against 70, so Hope with a massive lead in army supply. 156 against 100, and for Snood might have found his master in this Zerg versus Zerg match. We were talking about his ZVZ skills, but apparently he is in for another loss, because at this point it looks very much like Hope is not going to be stopped here unless Snood pulls something amazing off. He could come back as the ace player, but for now things are looking a bit grim. The roaches for Hope are moving in, and he's starting with his fungals there. The upgrades are in favor of Snood with the 3-3 completed, but now it's time for Hope to shine. The army supply is way in his favor. 106 against 38, and Snood is starting to be out of luck here. His opponent makes his way into the natural. There's the GG called by him. Well played by Snood, but by Hope just a little bit better. Hope takes down the strongest player of the Norwegian team. He annihilates Snood in the second game and ties up the series to 1-1.